It started in the pandemic where I would lose two of the greatest matriarchs of my life. And we lost them in the most inhumane ways. Now I can hear all the people because there's some people that thought this was a crazy idea, this trip. Do we just turn 5 months into 5 days? And then I said to myself, Kat, you have come too far to fold. I am so glad that I gave myself what I needed in that moment to make that moment. Life, it is going to keep asking you. It is going to keep testing you. How bad do you really want this? It's a journey worth traveling, your space for raw conversations and soulful insights around life's journey. Let's explore. Welcome back to the podcast, A Journey Worth Traveling. My name is Catherine, storytelling and content creation. It is absolutely one of my truest of loves, and I am so excited to have y'all back here taking another trip with us. That is what we do every single episode. We are dedicated to taking y'all somewhere. Now, with this just being the second episode, I said we probably should give them a couple little quick trip reminders. So when you hear me say J Crew, it stands for the Journey Crew. I am referring to you. That is the name of our community. That is the name of our squad. And again, every episode, we are taking you somewhere. And I could not be more honored, y'all, in where I get to take you on today. We are about to embark on my LCA. It stands for my life-changing adventure. And I call it that because that is what it did. It is a trip that would forever change my life. Now, at the time, I had absolutely no idea that it was going to do any of this. The only thing I knew was that I needed it because I would find myself, and before making this decision, to be literally in the lowest valley of my life. And I talk about that valley in its totality in the last episode, turning pain into purpose and starting a podcast. So if you haven't taken a listen, check it out. But let me try to recap what this valley looked like. It started in the pandemic where I would lose two of the greatest matriarchs of my life, my aunt and my grandmother. And we lost them in the most inhumane ways. I cannot explain to you the indelible stain that this leaves on your heart. It is devastating. And it was just a kind of pain that it was hard for me to sit in. And I was already working in Chicago, going back and forth. So I said, you know what, Kat, now is probably the perfect time to immerse yourself into Chicago. I went there looking for some peace and just having this fresh start. But life, it kept lifing. The straw that would break the camel's back was when I was carjacked. Now, any peace that had been accumulated up to that point was literally stolen from me. I could not see the forest from the trees. And I started doing some reckless shit. It was so bad. I was like, Kat, what is the life raft going to look like for you? Like, you got to figure this out. I asked myself, what do you love? I love travel. I don't know if y'all can tell every single episode we taking y'all somewhere, but I love travel because travel is transformative. Travel extends so much to you. You reach these places that are new and you're experiencing all these new cultures and environments. It reminds you like how incredibly vast just the world is. Now, I knew I couldn't just do like my normal travel. I was going to need to do something big and intentional. Do y'all know Liz Gilbert's Eat, Pray, Love? Okay, I love Liz. I've been working on her since college. I don't know her personally, but I have just always been inspired by her journey. She, too, is a person who found herself in a valley, and she chucked up to the deuces to the United States of America. She went abroad for a year to find her happiness, to find her peace. And she did. Now, I have always wanted to do an Eat, Pray, Love. But now, Cats, like you need to do an Eat, Pray, Love. I decided for the next 5 months, we will eat in Thailand, we will pray in India, and we will love in Africa, specifically Ghana. And then on our way back home, we will tap into Egypt. So now I got my locations together. But what is the set going to look like? Well, seeing that my cup was so empty, I knew that I would want to fill it up with experiences over the first several months. And then knowing me, I was going to want to pour out, meaning that I was going to want to be of service. So how we are loving in Africa, for at least a month and a half, I am going to be volunteering in Ghana in the orphanages. So now this trip is like firing on all cylinders. It feels purposeful. It feels meaningful. It has this service component. But y'all, we are gone for 5 months. And within those 5 months, going to 2+ continents, 4+ countries, 20+ cities. I'm like, this is about to be a huge undertaking. Kat, you're going to need to bring in some reinforcement. So I call up my travel agent, Kathy, and I let her know, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. And she says, I got you. Now, this is perfect because Kathy can take care of all the logistical things, and Catherine can color in all the fun stuff, all the activities, the retreats, all the experiences that are going to make this experience. Now, in wanting to fully immerse myself into the experience, I said, I don't want to work. For the next 5 months, I want to take a true sabbatical. But this was not easy. I couldn't just like shut it down that day. It was going to take a little time. But the time was a little longer than I intended. So much so that Kathy is now calling me like, are you going on this trip or not? And it's like, yes, Kathy, I'm going. But honestly, at that point, I hadn't really started coloring in the experiences. So I'm like, Kat, you need to lock in. Now I'm trying to figure out, because Thailand is the first place we're going to. So what is happening in Thailand? And y'all are not going to believe this. In the coming weeks is Songkran. Songkran is the Thai New Year. And get this, it is all about renewal, transformation, purification. That is literally everything that this trip is about for me. I'm like, this is the perfect way to like just jumpstart this trip to mark this new season. And it gets even better. So you know how we be like popping it off with the fireworks for New Year's. Well, with Songkran, to represent purification, they use water as their symbol. And so it started off as this sprinkle of water that has now turned into this massive water fight, the world's largest water fight. I'm looking at these pictures, y'all, and it is like thousands of people in the streets of Thailand with their buckets of water, with their water guns. I'm like, this is so dope. I can now just envision myself over there with my super soaker, squirting people up, getting wet, like, yes, renew me. This is about to be a movie. I knew Songkran wasn't going to be waiting on Kat to make the movie, so she had to hurry up. I now have an official out date. I figured my sister was probably going to be throwing me some kind of like a surprise send-off. So I call her up like, hey, I don't know if you have anything planned, but I got to be out by this date. And she did. I get to this wonderful dinner, and I am met with my closest friends and family. The night was just full of love and laughs. My sister, she got me this delicious pink and gold cake, and they bring it out like it's my birthday. So now everybody in the restaurant, they think it's my birthday. They're coming up to me like, happy birthday! Can we get you a shot? And I'm like, oh, actually it's my bon voyage send-off. Okay, nobody know what a bon voyage send-off was. So I'm trying to explain it to them, and they still ain't getting it. So I'm like, you know what? Yes, it is my birthday. But it was a great celebration. I got cards and gifts things that I would take with me on this trip that would be a piece of home. And at the end of the night, we are saying our goodbyes or our see you soons. My homegirl, she comes up and she gives me like the biggest hug and she's like, oh, we're going to miss you so much and we're never going to see you again. I'm like, you're never going to see me again. What are you talking about? I'm only going to be gone for like 5 months. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? She's right. Like, Kat, they are never going to see this version of you again. Because, honey, like, if you come back as the same Kat that you left as, you have failed the mission. Yes, this trip was about seeing new things and experiencing new things and meeting new people. But this also was about me becoming a newer, a more upgraded version of myself. This trip was about exploration, but it was also about expansion. My therapist, she would ask me, Kat, what do you want this trip to be about? And I knew. Like, I wanted this trip to be about self-discovery, God discovery, people discovery. And I also knew that I wanted this trip to be about me cultivating 3 elements that were really depleted. And that was peace, power, and prosperity. I wanted to restore those things within inside of me. And she was like, oh, I love that. I love that. So, okay, now in order for those things to happen, what are the things that you can't take with you? What are the things that you're going to have to leave behind so that you can make room for all of that newness? Y'all, that was a souvenir for me. And I hope that it could be one for you too. Because yes, like when we go into these new seasons, what not only do we need to add, but also what do we need to take away? What do we need to remove so that we can become these more upgraded versions of ourselves? And that not only is what this trip is about, that is what life is about. J. Crew, if you are enjoying this trip and you have not already, I would love for you to like and subscribe so that you never miss a trip and we can continue to grow our community. Now, back to this trip. Now the day has come and I could not be more excited. We got a 21-hour flight from Chicago to Bangkok. Y'all, I am sitting on this plane and I am doing all this real stuff. I am writing down all my intentions, 7 pages worth. I'm reading the cards from my send-off. But it feels so surreal. Like, have you ever just been preparing for something and then the day comes and you're in it, but it doesn't feel real? This felt so much like a dream for me because for the next 5 months, I am going across the world by myself to all of these different unknowns. Yes, we have things planned and things that I'm looking forward to, like the Songkran, finding some peace and being of service in Ghana and all these other things. But I have absolutely no idea what everything is going to extend to me. But I knew that I was ready. 21 hours later, y'all, we have made it to Bangkok. Have you ever just reached a place and you instantly just felt at peace? That's how I felt when I got there. Even though it was nighttime, I could not see nothing. Bangkok has 11 million people. It's the capital. It is the busiest place in Thailand. But even in all this, like, I could still feel her peace, the peace of Thailand. I'm sitting in this car and it literally feels like I am in some kind of like video game. I reached the hotel and I am staying in one of my favorite hotels, the Conrad. Now, throughout my trips, I definitely want to tell you the places that I stayed, some of the activities that I did. So in case you ever find yourself in any of these places, like, you have some good recommendations, some options. And let me say that the Conrad, it did not disappoint. I walk into this grand lobby and I am greeted with a Sawadee ka, which means hello in Thai. I mean, did y'all hear that? a Sawatika. They sing their language. Like, how peaceful is that? Kapkunta, that means thank you. I could just like listen to them talk all day long. I make it up to my room where I am met with this large soaking tub. And let me just say, 21 hours on a flight, your girl needs it. So I do my thing and then it is off to dreamland. I wake up the next morning. Have you ever just like woke up somewhere new and you're like, oh my God, you forgot like almost like where you were at. Like I had to remind myself like, Kat, you are in Thailand. You are in Bangkok. And you know what time it is. It is time to go get wet. It's time for these Songkran. So I put on my get wet clothes because I got clothes special for this occasion. I go downstairs to talk to the concierge because I need to know, like, where is the best place to experience this water fight? Sawatika, sir. Where should I experience the Songkran festivities? Y'all, he looks at me and says, unfortunately, ma'am, since the pandemic, we have not resumed the Songkran festivities. I said, I'm sorry, yes, sir. Oh, what? Can you run that back? There are no Songkran festivities. What does he mean? There's no Songkran festivities. Like, this is a jump off. This is how we are marking this new season. We are supposed to be getting renewed out in these streets. I said, sir, there are 11 million people in Bangkok. Surely someone has to be celebrating Songkran somewhere. Like, just give me a clue. So he says, ma'am, if they're celebrating it anywhere, it's going to be down on Koh San Road. Now, Koh San Road it's one of the most famous roads in Bangkok. It is where all the nightlife happens. This is where hundreds, sometimes thousands of people go to experience the bars and the restaurants. I'm in the cab and I am just holding out some level of hope that when I get down there, like one bucket of water, one water gun. I don't need much at this point, like this little squirt, and boom, I am renewed. Beggars cannot be choosers. I get down there, y'all. It is a ghost town. Tumbleweeds. I'm like, how could this be? How could this be? I envision this moment. Like I am supposed to be out here getting wet with the super soaker, wetting people up. I just couldn't believe it. I'm walking around Koh San Road, face all out of sorts, brokenhearted. And then I see this man, and I don't give up easy. Like, I'm still holding out hope. So I go to him and I say, sir, somebody got to be celebrating the Songkran. He said, nah, kid, it's government banned. I said, oh, no, not the government banned. So he sees how distraught I am. I told him I just reached Bangkok. He gives me another idea. He says, there's an activity that you can do. It's the long tail boat tour. It's something that people love because it's a great way for you to see Bangkok. And there's a tour not too far from here that all the locals go to. At this point, anything to just like cheer up my little spirits. So he hails me a tuk-tuk, which is a bike cab. I'm in the tuk-tuk and we are headed to the pier. I get there and there is this lady managing everything. So I go up to her and I ask her, tell me about this tour. She says, it's a 90-minute tour. And she lists all the activities and the sites that I'm going to see. Like, okay, this sounds nice. And then she tells me the price. Now, y'all know we out here in these streets to get wet. So I didn't bring a lot of cash on me. I let her know I don't have enough, but let me go get some more money and I'll be right back. And I don't know, maybe she don't believe me. So She ends up having this girl come run after me. The girl tells me, we'll take your money. So I go back there and I'm like, I'll get the full tour for this amount of money. And she says, yep. Okay. So now I am waiting for the boat to arrive. And when it does, it is this long wooden motorized canoe with this colorful canopy on top. And I hop aboard. The boat driver, he's wrapping up a conversation with the ladies. And they're looking my way, but I don't pay too much attention to it. He gets on board and then the tour begins. I am on the Chao Phraya River on this warm, sunny day, looking at the skyline of Bangkok. And it's just like, it's something about being on the water. It's like, does it calm y'all? It calms me so much. And no, this isn't Songkran. But at the end of the day, like, Kat, you're in Bangkok. And that, it still feels so surreal. We're driving on the river, and then we get to the first floating market. And that is a market off the water. I'm walking around, all these food vendors, clothing vendors. And then I see these pants, and I cop them. We're back on the boat, and now we are going through the canals of Old Town Bangkok. I'm seeing all these colorful shanties, which are the shacks that some of the Thai people live in. I mean, this is my first time here. I am just taking it all in. And honestly, like, in this moment, I am feeling at peace. Ahead is the Wat Arn Temple. It is this huge, famous, majestic gold temple. I am enjoying every minute of this. And then the boat driver taps me and he points ahead. And I'm like, yes, the Wat Arn Temple. I like, yes. And he taps his watch and he points ahead again. I'm like, now he don't speak no English, y'all. So it's literally like I am over here playing charades. I'm like, okay, maybe he's saying time to take pictures. So I get out my phone and I start taking pictures. Then he pulls up to this pier. Okay, next stop. He ushers me up. I get up and off the boat onto the pier. He hands me my bag. And then he drives off. He drives off, y'all. And I'm like, oh my God, sir, where are you? Where are you going? That is my ride. That is, what the just happened? Because this is not the same pier that I came from. And now I'm just trying to figure out, like, why? How? And then it dawns on me. It dawns on me. When the ladies were talking to the driver, they must have told him, don't give her the full tour. Drop her off at X Pier. And when he was tapping his watch and pointing ahead, he was letting me know, baby girl, this is where you're getting dropped off at. So they lied to me. They lied to me. Ooh, I am livid. Steam is coming up from me. But Kat, you don't got no time for those kind of emotions. Like, we'll get back to that later. Because right now, that surreal bubble that you were in, it just got popped. Because shit just got real. You have absolutely no idea where you are at. And you need to figure it out. So now I am just trying to find anyone who can speak some English. And finally, I find someone. And I let her know, like, the last known road that I remember is Koh San Road. And she's like, there is a ferry that will take you from here to Koh San Road. I'm like, oh, thank God. Now, as I'm waiting on the ferry, I have some time to reflect. Y'all, I woke up this morning so happy, so excited about being in Bangkok, the Songkran, the largest water fight in the world to be able to mark this moment, only to find out the Songkran festivities, nope, canceled. But I'm like, Kat, don't give up hope. So I go down to Koh San Road. Nope, that's a dub. Then I meet this man, and he suggests this a pretty good activity. Like I was having fun. Only to be dropped off in the middle of God knows where. Like, still to this day, I have absolutely no idea where I was at. Y'all, this is the first 48 hours. The first 48. And we got 5 more months to go. Oh. Now I can hear all the people because there's some people that thought this was a crazy idea, this trip. I can hear them. Oh, you wanted to go all the way across the world by yourself to go find yourself. Well, how is that working out for you? I said, okay, you can't tell nobody about this. Nobody, especially not your parents. They're going to be like, Kat, come home all right now. And I don't blame them. What would y'all do? What would y'all do? Like, do we just turn 5 months into 5 days? We got a pretty decent excuse. And then I said to myself, I said, Kat, you have come too far to fold. You wanted to fill up your cup, and honey, you don't even got a drop in the bucket at this point. You came here to fill it up. You will fill it up, and you won't leave until you get everything you need. Okay. So now that I've had this whole little internal pep talk with self, we are now back at Koh San Road. And now we have another decision to make. Do we go back to the hotel, or do we go back to that pier where those ladies were at? And I can hear my therapist, Maisha, in my ear, and she's saying, Kat, how do you want to partner with life? What is the emotional soundtrack, the song that you hear in this moment? And y'all, I am not going to lie to you. The only song I heard in that moment was that Meek Mill's The Dreams and Nightmares, when he gets to that build up and he be like, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Those ladies, they thought that they could just lie to me, deceive me, drop me off in the middle of God knows where, only to never see me again. Y'all, to this day, I could be in a cage somewhere over in Bangkok. They didn't know. I could have had a whole panic attack, an anxiety attack. They did not care. I said, where is the sisterhood? Clearly, it was not there. Sometimes I'll say, Kat, you just need to let it go. Let it go to maintain your peace. And other times, Kat, you're going to have to say your piece in order to be able to get your peace. This was one of those times. Somehow, some way, I done made my way back to that pier. I done remembered it. We had a whole new tuk-tuk. We get up to the pier, and the tuk-tuk driver, he points out the owner. It's this older gentleman. And y'all not going to believe who he's talking to. One of the ladies. So I scroll on up, and she sees me. And she got the nerve to say, oh my God, how was your trip? How was my trip? How was my trip? Let me tell you how my trip was. So I told him how my trip was. The whole time, the man has his mouth just wide open, the owner. And then he starts like apologizing. When I got done telling him how it was and how I felt, he said, ma'am, hold on one second. So he goes and he comes back and he brings me some Thai baht. That's their currency. He brings me some dollars. Now, y'all know it wasn't about that. It is now taking me more money to get from that ferry over to this pier to say my piece. But, it was a kind gesture, so I accept it. And yes, after saying my piece, I do feel more at peace. So now we can go back to the hotel. I'm in my room and I got to figure out what are you about to do? Because I don't have anything planned for another couple of days when we go to Koh Phangan. Until then, we were supposed to be celebrating this Songkran. Clearly, that is not happening. So I recalled this conversation that Kathy, my travel agent, and I had. She said, Kat, you can't go to Thailand and not go to Koh Samui. Now, at the time, I didn't think we were going to have time for Koh Samui. Clearly, we got some time. And honestly, Bangkok, he ain't too much of our friend right now. And we got to come back here anyway. So I'm researching this Koh Samui. And y'all, they got another Conrad. And I'm looking at these pictures of this Conrad, and I'm like, ooh, okay, this looks nice. This looks peaceful. So I called up Kathy. Kathy, can you get me on the next flight to Koh Samui? She said, I got you. Next day, y'all, we are headed to Koh Samui. We have made it to Koh Samui. Now, interestingly enough, one of the translations of Samui, it means beautiful beach. And let me tell you, everything about Koh Samui is absolutely beautiful. We pull up to the Conrad, I hop out. They have made it look sexy. I met with these panoramic views of the Gulf of Thailand. The golden sun is just glistening on the waters. That view, that was confirmation number one, Kat. You have made the right decision in coming to Koh Samui. I finished exploring the rest of the property, and it is just as picturesque. So the Conrad, actually, it sits on this really steep hill. So steep that you can't even walk anywhere. You have to be driven around in this golf cart. But you know what? I did not mind because the service, it was just as great as the views. Koh Samui was completely unplanned, right? So I have nothing on the books. I go to the concierge and I ask him, what is it to do here in the Samui? He gives me this list of activities. I'm scrolling through the list and I see one of my favorite things to do, ATVs. That's right, y'all. I am a rider. I love to ride, especially when I'm traveling, because I just think it's such a great way to be able to have adventure and thrill and see some great scenery. It is my bag. That excursion is booked, and that was confirmation number 2. Later that night, I am met with my first Koh Samui sunset. Now, I know it is only one sun, but I am telling y'all, the sun hits differently over here. I don't know, maybe because Thailand is so close to the equator, but I am just mesmerized looking up at the sky and seeing these beautiful hues of pink, yellow, and orange. It literally looks like Rainbow Sherbet just had a baby in the sky. That was confirmation number 3. Next day, it is time to ride. I get to the tour spots and I lock eyes with my quads. It is something about mounting on this 600-pound machinery. Every single time I do, I become one with my ATV. It is the smell of gasoline and just fresh air that does it for me every single time. J. Crew, do I have any riders out there? I love to ride because it is so thrilling. It is exhilarating. It's liberating for me. Now, generally, I like to be in the front so that I can kind of just do my own thing. But right now, where my quad is positioned, it's positioned in the back. It's kind of like this unspoken rule where wherever your quad is at in line, you just are supposed to stay there. I've been in the back several times before, so I'm like, you know what? We still gonna make it do what it do and have a good ride. Now we are off. We're riding through the jungle of Samui. It is a 90-degree type of day, so it is hot. And I promise y'all, I am really trying to have a good time. But homegirl in front of me, she just keeps braking abruptly. And I'm like, what is going on? I would find out that this was her first time riding. So I even tried to give her some pointers. Have y'all ever been behind a car and you see the bumper sticker and it says student driver? You're really trying to give that student driver grace because you were once a student driver. But the way they are turtling it, the way they just keep stopping for no reason, and you just keep getting whiplash after whiplash, all you want to do now is just go around this kid. I even tried to create some distance between me and homegirl, but it is not working. And now here come the voices. The need for thrills, no fucks given voices like, Kat, when are you going to get to the front? Because we are not having any fun. And then y'all, that voice that just it won't let you be great. It's saying to me, get to the front. You're going to ruffle feathers. What are people going to think about you cutting in front of them? So I toggle between the two. And then I let that voice of thrills, no fucks given win. And I see an opening and I done made it to the front. Now we can have some fun. The only person I got in front of me is the tour guide. And you know what? I don't mind because he knows how to ride. I am going fast, standing up, just kind of I'm in my bag. And the tour guide, he looks over and he's like, okay, baby girl knows how to ride. So this kind of permits him to start doing his own thing. So he starts showing off, I'm showing off. It's this cute little game of cat and mouse as I would drive up on him, try to make him go faster, and he's smiling, laughing, and we just having a good old time. And here's the thing, had I stayed in the back and let discomfort be the voice to take over, I would be miserable. I can now officially enjoy the lush green palm trees, the sandy dirt road. These things were always here. But I had this limited view. I had this distraction. And that was a life souvenir for me. Because, how many times do we let distraction and a limited view take us away from life? The fullness, the beauty of the view. This was arguably one of my favorite ATV rides. Not just because of what I experienced, but because of what it taught me. I am so glad that I gave myself what I needed in that moment to make that moment. And it was a reminder, Kat, you came here for something. Get what you came here for. The next day I get up for breakfast. I love breakfast. I am a breakfast girl. And the Conrad generally has some good breakfast. I get me an omelet, some potatoes, some fruit. Now, I love potatoes, but I got a high benchmark for potatoes. And I have a high benchmark because my aunt, Lori, the one who passed away during COVID, she was the GOAT of potatoes. The way this woman would season her potatoes and the way that she cooked them, it had the perfect amount of softness and just crispiness. I can still taste her potatoes on today. So I get my meal and my potatoes, I sauce them up with some ketchup, and I go to take my first bite. And right when it hits my taste buds, I'm like, oh, these are her potatoes. I know my aunt's potatoes from anywhere. So now I'm looking all over. I'm like, where is she at? And what that moment told me, what them potatoes told me, is that she had to be in the back telling that chef how to make her niece some potatoes. And that meant if she was in the back, she was here. And if she was here, I was meant to be here. It was confirmation. Kat, don't stop. Keep going. You are meant for this journey. And I know that sounds so incredibly simple, but that confirmation, me knowing that she was here, it meant everything for me. Now all we have left to do is mark this season of newness. I know, Kat, you didn't get to celebrate Songkran with the water fight, but, Songkran is more than just water festivities. It is a celebration of life. It is a celebration of newness. And you can celebrate that anywhere, right? Now, what I did not tell y'all was that I got a little plunge pool in my room. So I decided, let's do this Songkran right here. I walked outside and I got into the deep, warm waters of my pool that overlooked the vastness of the Gulf of Thailand. And when the sun was at its highest peak, I submerged my entire being into those waters. And I had my own little personal Songkran, a little self-baptism to mark this season of newness. It was magical. I did a lot of writing when I was on this trip, but my therapist, Maisha, she gave me a really dope idea. She was like, Kat, why don't you write a postcard to yourself in every place that you go to? I was like, oh, okay. You know what? I like that idea. So I want to read one of the postcards from Koh Samui. I'm in such an overwhelming space of gratitude, just feeling blessed to experience something so wonderful, so magical. I couldn't have picked a better place to have my first rebirthing experience, my personal Songkran, my self-baptism. A moment to mark this season of newness, this new me, and the beautiful journey ahead. In a few short days, I have had some of the best revelations. One of them was on the ATVs. Push past any discomfort to fill up your cup. Catherine, if you ever find yourself in a negative space, just mentally come back here and reclaim your joy, a journey worth traveling. Within the first week, I have found peace in the unplanned. I have found peace in being unapologetic. J. Crew, I would love for you to take a couple of life souvenirs from this first week. Our plans, they don't always go as planned. But I do believe, when we set our intentions, life will go as we intend. We can't give up. You can't give up. You got to keep going. And 2, peace is freedom. It is freedom of the mind. Peace is freedom from other people's perceptions, you being your authentic self and being able to live in that authenticity to its fullness. And you got to do that by any means. Even if that means saying your piece to get your peace, or maybe even being like, you know what? It's not even worth my energy. Maybe it's fighting for something. Maybe it's surrendering to something. Whatever is going to free you, that is your peace. And you got to do it unapologetically, because life, it is going to keep asking you. It is going to keep testing you. How bad do you really want this? I know it kept doing that for me. It kept asking me, Kat, how bad you want it? And I had to keep showing up every single time if I wanted it. Y'all, this is only the first week. We got 5 more months to go. And let me just tell you, it gets crazier. But you know what? It was absolutely a journey that was worth traveling. And I look forward to telling you more about that journey in the next trip as we continue to find peace in Thailand. J. Crew, please remember that your journey, it is worth traveling. Until next time, peace and blessings.